give you some kind of a case, which cases which we have handled, and would be able to give you the insights, how does it work and what can be done to improve upon that and stuff like that. So I hope that should be okay.
Yeah.
So from that standpoint, yeah, Rajiv, you can just walk through briefly on the presentation.
Yes.
But wherever anybody would feel that we would like to understand more of a particular slide, so we would like to stop there, and we would like you to answer as many questions as you would have.
Yes. So feel free to stop me wherever you feel that there is a need for any particular point to be discussed, because I think that's the most important thing. When we are interacting, so it should all be very interactive.
Yeah, so you can share those slides, Rajiv, to
I,
start.
I will. I will.
So Aditya, you are based out of India or US?
So the company is registered in the US, it's registered in California, but I am stuck in India. My co-founder is based out of Los Angeles,
Okay.
and company is otherwise based out of US.
So I forgot, you are into which kind of a startup?
So we do 3D fashion. So actually, most fashion houses today are using 3D only to showcase their garments.
Right.
We are pulling that into the pipeline and allowing people to try that 3D clothing on their own digital self. So when you're doing a lot of your home shopping from e-commerce, you can
Yeah.
see how that clothing looks on yourself in augmented reality.
Oh, wonderful. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's interesting. Good, Rajiv. I think we have got a larger audience now.
Yeah. Can you see my slides? No.
No, not yet. Yeah, now it's fine.
Okay. As we discussed that we are going to talk about the pitch deck. Pitch deck is something which I think all the startup founders, they know very well, that what is, so this is our way to present ourselves to the investor community. And of course, through pitch deck, we are talking about our business plan, our products, services, and what kind of growth traction we are thinking of achieving. And market your idea or market your startup itself through pitch deck. And the first and foremost thing I think we all should be very cautious about, that pitch deck should not be very lopsided. It should be very crisp. It has to be maybe ideal pitch deck slides are known to be around 15 slides. We should not be having too many slides in the pitch deck. And also we should maintain a proper cohesiveness in how the information flows in the pitch deck. So we'll be talking about that also. And um, mm, normally when you start your business, initially you have your own capital coming in, or friends and family are pitching in. But at the initial seed stage itself, you start scouting for angel investment or seed capital. We already discussed that in our previous interactions. that how important it is to have angel and seed capital. So pitch deck is a tool which we are using for raising money. So you know, it is a multiple step process, of course. It has to be mm, very uh, crisp and simple, and of course it must be compelling. The person who's looking at your pitch deck should be able to you know, get a very clear glimpse of what are you talking about. It should not be a very you know, mm, uh, a document where people don't get an idea what is your business, or what is your you know, what you are trying to do as a startup. So, and also it should be easy to act on. It should clearly give a message that what are you looking at, what is your fund requirement, what is your funding need, uh, how you know, so first, I think this will give you a complete glimpse of how the information should move. One, it should tell people who you are and why you are here. You know, what are you trying to do? So, what is the core of your uh, business? And because people are not investing in the startup, they are investing in you. So, what is your you know, strength? They are taking risk on you. So I think that has to be conveyed in a very crisp and clear manner. Then, of course, what are the problems that your product will tackle? Because at the end of the day, when you are saying you are starting, so there has to be a uh, mm, some problem which your startup is addressing. So what is that problem? That should be very clearly brought out. Then you have to present a clear and concise solution to that problem to the investors, that look, this is a problem which is there already, and my startup or my business is going to handle this problem in this way. And so the investor can easily catch as to how and why they should invest in your company. Then, of course, identify the market size and opportunity in a measurable number. So you should very clearly talk about what is the number you are going to, you know, be addressing. And of course, it should show off the actual product or service your business is selling. So not only the business basic numbers, what you are trying to you know, what kind of product you have and what kind of service you have which you are trying to sell to the customer. And of course, you should focus on the growth. What are the major goals, and how you are going to you know, take steps to achieve your goals. That should be very clearly brought out in the pitch deck. If your startup is a very new, then you must add the forecast as to what, how you are going to achieve those numbers, what are the forecasted numbers. If you have already done something and you are going for Series A or Series B funding, then what are your results so far, how you have achieved what you set out to. So all that should be part of your pitch deck and should be very clearly brought out. Then, of course, the next thing which is very important is how you introduce your core team members. So that should be, people really look into what is your strength, you know, strength of your group as a team. So that you know, is something which you should clearly bring out for people to understand. And then, of course, define your competition and explain why you are different. Because I think there was a question to me on you know, that why, how you should talk about your competition. I think you must holistically talk about your competition, even if it is a big competition or a small competition. Who are your competitors and why you are different from your competitors. I think that also is very important to mention, because at the end of the day you have to be different. If you are same as your competition, then where's going to be the traction coming from? So that's the question each investor has. So I think we should handle that question in the pitch deck itself. And normally I also do many VC calls and participate in angel calls. What people do normally, they first tell you that, okay, within 10 minutes or 15 minutes you explain about your pitch deck, so you don't have too much of time to talk about your pitch deck. And within that 30 minutes call or something, they look at your pitch deck, look at you, ask you questions, and they make up their mind whether they have to go into further discussion with you or not. So these 15 minutes are very important. How you handle that, how you present, and of course show the final picture, that what kind of knowledge you have on your product, what kind of hold you have on the product, and the market or not, and then how you are going to your financials are going to be. That all has to be covered in the pitch deck. So I thought, let me look at the 10 aspects of the pitch deck with you today, so that we are all clear as to where we should take our pitch deck. And here I would like to pause for a minute, so that let's have any questions so far you have on whatever we have discussed, so that we take our discussion forward accordingly. Any questions? Anybody?
Hey.
Yeah.
Hey, my sense is that this kind of pitch decks are contextual to the kind of or the stage of fundraise a startup is at.
Yeah.
So this might be well aligned towards a seed or a Series A. Yeah. I mean, as we progress, they would probably start becoming much more detailed and
yes,
much more maybe to the point, and
right,
including more numbers, I reckon.
Right. Of course, once you come near to the Series A, then you have your results to talk about, your last maybe 2 years or 3 years result to talk about. What is your burn ratio? What is your content which you are having in the pitch deck? All that, of course, will be there. But we are talking about the startup stage, where what kind of things we should include in the pitch deck. And of course, we can discuss how the pitch deck matures. Yes. Yeah. Anybody else wanted to say something?
Yeah, Mr. Rajiv, it's the same thing, that when we talk to startups, the world of work, there's a lot of, there's no standard on what are these, what's pre-seed, what is seed, what is pre-series A, what is series A. Series A ke aage to I'm not, once you cross series A, it's a different ball game, because then your economics changes, your 150 plus, then you're no longer startup, you've got your own traction.
Yes.
But these are the 4 categories we've come across, which is pre-seed, seed, pre-series A, and series A.
Yeah.
And from what we understand is, back in 2019, pre-series A was 1 million. Nowadays they say pre-series A is 2.5 million.
Yeah.
And the whole market is very different. And I find that Bangalore and Hyderabad is moving along the same. Their concept, whether you talk to any of their angel networks, their language and their, numbers are very similar to what's happening in the US. Yeah. So the structure remains the same. You've highlighted the 10 good points. In fact, there's a lot of pressure when pitching to a lot of the foreign investors, the German investors and the American investors. They in fact want 6 slides and 7 slides. And as an entrepreneur, we are so excited about, and we are so lost in the details. It's very difficult to even pack in 10 slides, and some of them want the entire thing in 6, 7 slides. So these were 2 thoughts that, with your and Mr. Atul's, connectivity with the current situation, and
Right.
also, meeting with the fraternity regularly. If you could just give us some kind of insight into where India is, or where in general South Asia is in terms of pre-seed, seed, and pre-series. I know there is no clear demarcation, but these days no one talks about 100,000, 200,000 kind of raising. At least serious investors don't want to come to the table for that.
Yeah, of course. Atul, your insights on this?
So Aditya, your points are well understood. So let me just state a couple of things here. See, the pitch deck is a document which is to be prepared for a purpose. And here the purpose, what I mean by purpose is that what is the audience to whom you are addressing, and what is it which you want, whether it is a seed funding stage, or it is a stage pre-series A or series A, and what is the level at which you are making the presentation. I mean, there are a group of investors, the HNIs, or to whom if you are presenting, then there can be X number of slides, or the focus areas have to be X, Y, Z. But if you are going to make the presentation to the partners of the fund, in that case, the key standouts have to be very, very clear in the presentation, because the rest of the things that become a point of no interest. So you have to maybe each time when you are going to make the presentation, you have to understand that who is the key person to whom you are presenting, and you have to understand the background of that person. I mean, who is he? What is his style of thinking, and all that, because making impact is something which is very, very important. Yeah. So as Rajiv just mentioned that first and the foremost is the intro part. Now, I would like to pause a little bit and ask each of you that intro is something which is the beginning of the journey with the potential investors group. So in the intro part, one can write a 1-pager, 2-pager, 3 pages, 5 pages. Yeah. But what is important for all of you to understand is that this is going to make or break the whole presentation going forward. Yeah. So in the intro, the 2 things which have to stand out is that that who you are in terms of your experience or your traction, in terms of the number of years of experience or any particular situation which you have handled and stuff like that. I would like to share with you one very interesting kind of discussion, or I mean, I happened to attend 20 years back a small kind of a gathering at the CI, and most of the guys, I'm sure that they would know this guy, Sunil Alagh. So Sunil Alagh was the chairman of Britannia before the other guys took over. That was about 20 years back. And he narrated in that event, in the CI event, that when he was the chairman and he assumed I mean, when he became the MD and the CEO, he was not the chairman, he was the MD and the CEO. So in the year in which he became the MD and the CEO, first, I mean, the first thing which he asked his leadership team is that, let us write what is the vision of the company as a whole. Yeah. So the vision and the mission, So these are the two things which have to be clearly spelled out in the intro part. So in that event, he said that when I I gave this question to my leadership team of about 10, 12 people. They were across the various functions or the marketing or on the SEM, and he opened this question to all the leaders in the various functions, or I mean, to the operations guy, to the finance guys, to the all those guys. Yeah, he said that I want answer to. I want you to write something that what should be our vision, and by end of today, we would like to close that. What I would like to close on this vision statement. Yeah, that what is Britannia stands for, what is the purpose for which we are doing the business, or whatever. I mean, he wanted to close down on the vision statement by end of that day, and he left the leaders free then, and he said that you get into your chambers and all that, and you can collaborate together, you can do whatever you want, but I will gather again by end of the day and find out what are the answers. So, excuse me for that. So he, in the evening when he gathered with his leadership team, someone had written 2 pages, someone had written 1 page, someone had written 1 page or a quarter of a page, or I mean, stuff like that. But he said finally the vision statement which came out post that is that it was not a vision statement exactly, it was a mission statement. In fact, vision was something which is much larger in nature. So it was a mission kind of a thing which he wanted to set out. And they then finally closed down on a punch line, which is that they said that 5 years out, we would like to make every second Indian eat the Britannia biscuit. Yeah. So that was something which he said that drove the company for a purpose for the next 5 years. So he said that जो भी उनका डीलर है, डीलर का आगे डिस्ट्रीब्यूटर है, डीलर से आगे कंज्यूमर्स है, वहां पे माल जा रहा है, वहां पे सब जो है वो वहां से ट्रांसपोर्ट हो रहा है, तो वो कहते हैं कि मूव इट फास्ट सो दैट वी वांट टू मेक द पीपल consume one Britannia biscuit and make them feel that what it is all about. So in fact, that is the way he said that our revenues and all that could scale up, because he infused that kind of a mission into his workplace, and that cut across all the barriers across the society and all that. And he, I mean, everybody does the right things. I mean, quality, the kind of a brand awareness and all those kind of things, that in any case was not standing. So he said that we wrote that, and so he became so passionate about owning that kind of a mission that the Britannia then created that value, and 5 years out when he exited, so he had created a huge empire. So here, what is important for all of us to understand here is that on the intro part, you have to be very, very clear that who you are, and where are you coming from, and where you want to go. So these are the 3 things. I repeat that who you are means that it's basically talking about your journey in what in about 10 or 15 years or 5 years, whatever you have been in the past. And then what is the idea, and how passionate you are about that idea, and you have identified that problem. Of course, the problem is something which you define in the subsequent slide, but that in that particular slide, if it is a healthcare, or if it is a consumer product, or if it is a D2C kind of a product, so you have to spell out, okay, this is the problem, or this is basically you are passionate about solving this problem, and then you would like to be here 5 years out from that that point in time. So on the intro part, I would show you 1 slide or so in which there are various decks which are available. So on the intro part, these are the 3 things which have to be very, very important. And once that slide is clear, then rest of the slides, they become all the more interesting for the audience to look at. Yeah.
Yeah, Atul, I would like to add here, Aditya, I came across Ola's CFO in one of the sessions we were addressing together. And interestingly, he shared with me that my company's growth mission is 5% growth every week. So you can imagine, if a company is trying to grow its revenue 5% by 5% every week, the kind of challenge you are taking. So these kind of strong statements, you have to include somewhere in your pitch deck itself, where the person who is kind of looking at your startup, or as you said, the benchmarks have changed. People are talking about 1 million USD, 2.5 million USD, and things like that. But it's not for everyone. If you ask anybody to put 1 million USD in any startup, it's not happening. Many startups are facing a lot of challenge, even getting 500,000 or even maybe 1 CR, because so you have to. So pitch deck is a tool which is available to you to present your personality, your organization's ethos, your vision, your mission, everything. You have to bundle it and put it in, maybe, as you said, 7 slides or 8 slides. I know it's very difficult, but that's what. So normally, whenever we set up calls for the people in whom we are coordinating for investments for various startups, the investor, the call is fixed for only 30 minutes, no? And 1 or 2 minutes go in the initial stage. Then you come to your pitch deck, and you have to explain everything, including your introduction and everything, in that 15 minutes maximum. And after that, they have few questions, and in that process, they judge whether you are going to they are going to put their money in your startup or not. So I think that so crisp and a very crystal clear image of your financials, and also the industry and what you are, and what kind of problem your startup is going to solve. That is the most important thing for.
Just to like to add, sorry, Rajiv, I'm intervening that
Yeah.
in the intro part, what is also important is that though you would be talking about the product also in your subsequent slides, but what you have to talk about in the intro part is that the problem, it is not the product which you are going to introduce in the marketplace. It is the addressal of that problem which you are going to do. For example, I worked in the footwear industry, which was essentially serving the European markets, yeah, as the CFO. Now, when we launched that product for the German market, or for the Spanish market, or for the Holland market, Scandinavian markets, so we said that we are not footwear manufacturers, we are foot care service providers. So that makes a whole lot of difference. So what you're talking about is that it is not the product you are talking about, it is the service bundled into the whole value proposition which you are going to give to the ultimate customer, ultimate consumer. So if it is a B2B model, fine. But then in that B2B model, what you are saying is that here is a product which comes with a kind of a soft grain, crocodile free, surface free, soft leather, which comes from the parts of northern India, and where this kind of a buffalo calf leather is so soft that you would feel the smoothness of that, and that is the one which you are making, so that you know that Batas, for example, Batas have come out with Upas, this what do you call, what is that footwear. I'm
Hush
forgetting.
Puppies.
Hush Puppies. Yeah. Yeah. So now I have been hearing that. I mean, price is not a concern for me. If it is available for $5,000 or $10,000, so there is an audience available. But the more important part is that the care which they take about. I mean, the insole inside the footwear, that is so comfortable. So our punchline in that footwear manufacturing facility was that when we said that so comfortable that you would forget they are on, you know. So नहीं तो ये चलता है कि यार आपने शूज डाल लिया, शूज जाओ, उसका कंफर्ट ही नहीं आया, आपने I mean almost 14 or say 12 hours of the day you are going to spend into that footwear, and if you are not comfortable putting in that footwear, still you are on, so you would never, so that means that that is a me too kind of product. So you are not differentiating, you are not giving any value proposition and all that. So if you are going to serve a market which is highly fashionable, upstate kind of a market in Europe, in that case, you need to come out with a product which itself should speak about all these kind of qualities and all that. Incidentally, as Aditya said, the 3D and all that, so those are the things which we also did in that company. I mean, there was this company from Scandinavia where it was, we were making the 3D modeling and all that, and custom required, I mean, made to design, you know, so those kind of things. So the startup ecosystem is such that you have to relate whatever startup you are doing with the solving of a particular problem, and you have to relate it with the masses at large, which is going to be a market. Yeah, that market itself is so huge. So there's always a space for 5 players to be there, or 10 players to be there, or 20 players to be there. Yeah. But you need not to worry about the competition because the market itself is so huge. So on the intro part, you have to take those kind of punch lines which would be peculiar to your startup and include that maybe in the header or the footer or inside into the one page or whatever way. Yeah. So that is something which is very, very important.
Okay, Amar has also raised his hand. Amar, you can speak now.
Yeah, hi. Thanks, Rajiv. Thanks, Atul.
Yeah.
We are talking about the, highlighting few key problems which you could identify and how you're gonna solve that with, the startup. My question is slightly different to that. What if I'm not solving any problem, but probably the product or the service which I'm going to launch is something which will give, a kind of huge opportunities where probably the people will understand that, okay, this is what something was missing, and now I can use this product and, go ahead with it. For example, let's say, for example, let's take an example of Amul butter.
Yeah.
Now, Amul butter is something which everybody is using, and when if you keep it outside, if you don't keep it in fridge, it gets melt, right? But if I'm preparing kind of a cover, if you cover it with Amul butter with that cover, it would not get melt for, let's say, 1 hour, even in summers also. But Amul butter is getting melt is not a problem because everybody is keeping in this thing. But if I make some kind of product which can definitely, people may use, though it is not, they don't see it as a problem, but it can be used. So it can be used, and it is just probably maybe the weird example, but if something which is not solving any problem, because not possible that every product is going to solve a problem. It can be a possibility, for example.
Yeah, I understand your point. So what you are saying is that your startup idea is something which should give some value proposition to the consumer or the ultimate B2B or B2C or whatever, who is going to be the customer of yours. So it may ultimately, what you are saying is that the service or the value proposition which you are proposing through the startup and all that would enable the customer to enjoy that,
Exactly.
of that. So I mean, you are done with that. if you have got a differentiated idea and it's going to make a difference in the life of a customer ultimately, and you're giving them a value-added service and all that, there's a value proposition. I mean, why when you are done with that? So the message should be very clear, loud and clear in your pitch deck that this is the value proposition which you are going to propose, and there is a market for that, and you are basically going to build up your startup and scale up that in that way. So that is okay.
Yeah, yeah. So probably it could be a good example. I'll just take 2 more minutes. Before COVID came to India or to the world, nobody was wondering about online, online this teaching, online thing, especially the school academics.
Yeah.
And if at that point in time, if I launch that service, the school can do online teaching, probably that was not a problem at all for the education system. But probably after a year, when the COVID came, they started realizing that this could be a solution is required, especially in India. So it is not
exactly, Amar. Yeah, that is the point I would like to say that. Yeah, so what is important for all of us to note here is that you as a leader of your venture have to anticipate the problem. So the problem may not be there at that point in time, but you have to be a picker of the trends and all that. You have to anticipate. I mean, leaders are the one who anticipate the changes and then bring out those strategies in place so that they implement those strategies and make the whole business value proposition out of that opportunity. So I would give you another example. Rajiv, I'm taking a little long time. I don't know whether we have got the time or not for that to discuss a bit. But in any case,
No, I think better interactive is always better. Yeah.
yeah. So everybody knows Sunil Mittal. Yeah. So Airtel guy, and I come from Chandigarh, and I have been frequently visiting the Ludhiana, that market and all that. And Ludhiana is said to be the Manchester of India. So we have all these kind of hosiery machines and these kind of things, and then entrepreneurship and all that. That has been the blood of the Punjabis and all that. Now Sunil Mittal, way back in 1990s, 91 or 92 somewhere, he decided to relocate from Ludhiana to Delhi. Yeah, and I used to interact with certain investment bankers at that point in time, and during the course of the interactions, one of my investment banker friends, Swaminathan, he said that सुनील मित्तल के बारे में बता रहा था कि सुनील मित्तल जो है उसको जब लाइसेंस मिलना था गवर्नमेंट से, टेलीकॉम मिनिस्ट्री से, तो उसके 1 या 2 सर्कल्स जो है उसके लिए उसने बिड डाला और उसको उसमें इंटरेस्ट आया और उसने so he went to the Joint Secretary Ministry of Telecommunications, and there the Joint Secretary asked him that, Mr. Mittal, do you know what kind of money you are going to spend on acquiring, what kind of license fee you are paying for acquiring the rights of one circle or the two circles? So he said, yes, I know. So probably it was 1,000 crores or 800 crores. So he said, do you have the business in hand to serve that kind of a capital deployment? Would you be able to generate that kind of business? And I tell you, the mobility at that point in time had just not started. So, what the answer from Sunil Mittal's side was that he said, BSNL, landline and all that, they have been there in ages and all that. I am not there to take a small pie of the existing market. I am going to create a market for this mobility, and combined with the existing market and the additional market, I would like to take a small pie of that expanded market. And he gave an example. He said, कि राहुल बजाज जब स्कूटर लेके आया था, Priya and all that, so those have been going for ages. But जब वैल्यू माइग्रेशन हुआ, वो स्कूटर से मोटरसाइकिल पे हुआ, तो हमारे जितने भी इन्वेस्टर कम्युनिटी में रामदेव अग्रवाल जी and all these guys, they had invested big time into these value migration ideas. So वो हीरो में या हीरो होंडा या फॉर दैट मैटर बजाज एंड ऑल दैट, तो उसके अंदर उसने मित्तल ने ये कहा कहता कि मार्केट जो है वो आज की डेट में एग्जिस्ट नहीं कर रही है, बट ही कुड एंटिसिपेट दैट दिस इज द चेंज, बिकॉज ही सॉ दैट the world is changing and this mobility is going to come big time in India post 91 kind of a budget presentation by Manmohan Singh and all that when the economy was opened. And he anticipated that change, he created that. And soon, I tell you, a friend of mine, he was the MD of Warburg Pincus. He wrote a check for Sunil Mittal and they invested $350 million 2 to 3 years down the line. And I know that guy. He's and the amount of money which he put in, and 5 years out, he exited from that at 3x the price at which he had invested and made a huge amount of carry on that. And he relocated to Singapore from there. And now he has built up $1 billion or to a couple of $1 billion kind of a portfolio of that. So not only the investor was happy, but also the company was happy. They got access to the capital and all that, and all the whole system that has come about. So, Aman, I think this is a live example that you need not to worry about what is the existing market. You have to anticipate that change and have to come out with a solution to address that change which you are trying to make out. Yeah.
Yeah, thanks, Atul.
And these investors, then the CEOs, most of these guys at the MD level, they are good friends of mine. They look at the things. These guys, they have been they are working at the apex level. You know, somebody is a ex McKinsey or somebody is a ex BCG or and they are all IIM, IIT graduates and they have worldwide traveled. And, so they know the problem.
Finally, everyone, please keep yourself muted. So thank you all for good insights. So I think we move forward on our discussion. Basically, the important thing, of course, introduction we have already discussed. Problem, I think it's well understood that why it is important to mention about the problem, because that gives an idea to the investors as to why your entity or why your startup is important and why they should put their money and what kind of ROI they can expect a few years down the line, as you said, 3x or 4x. So everybody, people are doing angel investment not for because they are real angels. They are looking it for returns. They are doing it for returns. So basically the whole idea is they are looking for 4x, 5x, 10x kind of returns. That is why they are risking their capital. So you should be very clear about what problem you are going to solve and how the startup has a great future. And of course, solution, that's the key for bringing out what your startup is going to be and how scalable it can be, because of if it is a tech startup, then things can be very well explained through your pitch deck. Then of course the market size, what kind of market size is going to be there for your startup, and how that market size you are going to capture. So that's the most important thing. Just talking about market size will not make sense. First, that will give an idea to the investor that what is the overall share of the pie. But at the end of the day, you should also talk about how you are going to capture that market size and why do you think that kind of big market size is there. Of course, there are various tools available for doing research, and these days you can Google anything and everything. So you must put in your effort in doing your good research on how you are going to have how big is the market size and what kind of market size you are going to occupy. And of course, you must talk about your product, what exactly you have to offer. Everybody should understand what product you are offering. It should not be ambiguous. It should not be confusing. If you are, suppose you are going to go into manufacturing, some people, they are going into manufacturing, but they are more talking about the app or the service they are going to deliver. So you should be very clear whether you are a manufacturer or you are a service provider. So that pitch has to very clearly spell it out, so that everybody can understand what do you intend to do. And of course, the traction, how your business is going to grow. I gave an example of Ola. Who thought that this space is going to become so big? And recently, like I was intrigued when I was in Japan a few years back to see a concept that e-bikes are standing on the are available on each and every station. You can get down, pick up any bike, and park it at the next station. You can ride on that bike. So I was very intrigued by the idea, and now there is a startup in Bangalore they have already introduced this in India, and they are charging rental for that. So basically, how you are going to bring your idea into a reality, and they got good funding from some US funds. So traction and how your business is going to grow, and how the investors will have that growth potential very clear in their mind to invest their money into your company. That's very important. Team, of course, we don't have to dwell too
I had
much.
a quick question on the market size,
Yeah,
on the addressable market.
Yeah.
So in your experience, is there some minimum threshold of market size which investors prefer? And I'm talking out especially about tech investors like the likes of Lightspeed, Sequoia, Axel, etc.
Yeah. See, again, it's a very, of course, you have to show a tangible market size, right? And, if we are talking about a revenue potential, that we are going to have a revenue of, say, 5 million USD, and we are saying that the overall market size is, say, not more than 100 million USD, then, of course, the investor interest may not be that much in your how big is the market size. That is one key. And what kind of market pie you can acquire through your solving of the problem which you are talking about. I think that's the sometimes even market size is again, you are saying that there's going to be a market. Investor may not be very clear about it. So how market size is determined and how it is presented is again, some of the tech startups which are very new ideas, they can say that, okay, based on this, I think this is going to be my market size. So there are no clear cut levels or benchmarks defined, but yes, if the attractive market size can be depicted, definitely it's of interest to the investors. No? Recently, there's a deal you must have heard about, Nivesh.com. They got a very good deal from Angel Investor Group, I think 1.6 million USD. So, and this company is into mutual funds. They are helping people invest through mutual funds. So it's a aggregator. So what they are trying to do is, now from the current business model, they are expanding into insurance sector and other segments. So they already have got a group. So these days, numbers is the power. No, so they already got a traction of 10,000 people as part of their, who are using their app. So of course, they added another sector apart from mutual fund, like insurance or other sector. suddenly the market size for them grew. So that's so it's a very subjective, how you put across your market size is also very important.
Yeah, no, and especially for pre-seed or seed stage startups.
Yeah.
I mean, they can literally show any value. For if let's say Nivesh is raising at a seed stage, they can literally show everything under the sun that hey, we even at some point in our life we can even start giving out loans. We can become
Yeah.
another Paytm.
Yeah.
I mean, we can pretty much be the next SDFC, so to speak,
Yes.
of India.
Yes.
So that phase you can probably at least just for the sake of showing it, show $1 trillion market size. So in your experience, how are things like those seen? I mean, I'm talking about obscenely high market sizes.
No, see, people, they also look into your. There are stages, as Aditya in the initial stage said. The pitch deck at the time of seed, has to be very focused and limited to your strength also. No, you can't say that I can do business as big as ICICI Bank or HDFC for that matter, if you are in that segment. But if you are coming out with a solution and you say that with my small team I can quickly acquire these many numbers, no, and Airbnb, for example, no, Airbnb, I think uh, was closed 2 times before. I don't know what is going to happen now because of this COVID situation, but twice they were closed and they revived themselves. So the market size, so to say, in the initial stage was not there. They created the market. No, Oyo rooms, they created the market. No, so of course, obnoxious numbers will not be appreciated by anyone. But if you have, if you are coming at a Series A stage or something, you already have, so for example, you are an aggregator, you already have got good numbers, 10,000 people are your members, and you have just to add on to another element to expand your market, that anybody and everybody would understand and appreciate. So you have to be reasonable in your numbers. You can't talk investor community and the people, especially the angel funds and others, they are very smart. They are, when they analyze your depth also as a startup founder. That's my experience. Yeah.
Chair Aman, so this question was from Aman.
Yeah.
Yeah. So as they say that Rome was not built in a day, so therefore it has to be a journey which you need to make the other people understand. One is the wish, and the other is the desire. Yeah. So you have to differentiate between the wish and the desire. So wish is something which can be, I mean, in a jiffy you can write on a slide that you would like to become XYZ, but then you have to make that happen, and there is a journey, and then there is a meticulous plan, and there is a method of madness which has to be put into place, and then it has to be backed by a certain kind of attraction which you would have done in order to achieve that. So stuff like that. So that is something which should be very, very clear in your deck and the presentation, that the market is always evolving, expanding. There would be disruptors, there would be certain changes, but then you would move along. You have got the right kind of a mindset to solve that problem and bring in the additional team at the right point in time, and the resources and all that, and the capital in any case that would come, because as you would show that this is a proof of concept, this is the traction, and this is the quarterly results which you have done and achieved and all that. So then there will be conviction in those numbers which would be then coming, and then once those conviction and those things, they are there to be seen by everybody, then the investors per se, they would definitely look at that, and that is when they would be able to write for you a bigger check and all that. So So you have to make a kind of a vision plan that how you would be able to achieve that mission in a 5 years journey or in a 3 years journey or whatever you would like. And you have to also be very meticulous in answering when you are going to be presenting your case before the investors. See, investors are, again, I repeat that they are learned people. They've got a huge amount of knowledge. Yeah. For example, as Rajiv said that there's this startup who got a 1.5 or 1.6 million kind of a funding, and they are basically aggregators for as a mutual fund industry connectors or the aggregators, and they are going to get connected with the SIP investors who would be investing through the brokerage firms into the marketplace on the mutual fund products or the debt funds and all these kind of products or the insurance linked ULIP schemes and stuff like that. Now, what the investors would like to know from you in 5 minutes or 3 minutes, kind of a crisp discussion in your presentation, that those kind of pointers may not be written at all in your deck, but they would like to pick up from your mind, from your body language, whether you know those numbers. For example, if I ask a person who is going to make this kind of a presentation, that if I ask a question that what is the total size of the market at this point in time of the mutual fund industry? Yeah. What is the per month kind of inflow which is coming on the SIP side? Or what is the AUM on all India basis? And what is the total जब से FII को अलाउ किया तब से लेकर अब तक FII ने इंडिया में कितना इन्वेस्ट किया, इस साल में कितना किया, डेट में कितना किया, FDI के थ्रू वो तो आपकी डायरेक्ट इन्वेस्टमेंट होती है, बट FII ने पोर्टफोलियो इन्वेस्टमेंट में कितना किया, you know. So all these things, you should have a deep understanding of those things before you really can make a difference and get your whole business proposition accepted by the potential investors. So you need to work very closely on the numbers and all that. You should own it. As I say, the ownership of these numbers and all that, I mean, you should first understand how large is the opportunity and all that. Yeah. So opportunities, I'll give you another example. Till about 4 years back, the air conditioning manufacturing capacities in India was X. And nobody could anticipate that this market is going to expand in a big way. And from a $2 billion opportunity now, or say 7 billion kind of opportunity, now we are looking at growing it to 17 billion or say 19 billion over the next 5 years. Yeah. So this has come on the back of certain policy initiatives the government of India has taken, you know. So all these kind of things.
Many factors, yes.
Yeah, there are so many factors. The government is making the things happen because government has launched this program of Atmanirbhar or this and that PLI scheme and all these kind of things, and that is where the market has come in a big way. Yeah. So you should know what is this policy framework, how the things are changing, how the market is being created. It's not an existing market where you are going to address. It is basically the market which you're going to expand. So इंडिया की अगर 5 ट्रिलियन इकोनॉमी बनेगी तो उसमें अपॉर्चुनिटी तो सभी के पास है.
Absolutely, absolutely.
तो उस पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू से यू शुड बी वेरी क्लियर. आपको और दूसरी तरफ आपका रिस्क एलिमेंट भी आपको पता होना चाहिए कि बस ये जो आज की डेट में पैसा ये इन्वेस्ट होएगा, ये जो भी कर रहा है वो इस बेस पे नहीं कर रहा कि आपका बिजनेस बहुत बढ़िया है. वो उसको ये भी पता है कि आज की डेट के अंदर देयर इज लॉट ऑफ liquidity which is available in the marketplace.
Absolutely.
So, वो liquidity जो है वो helicopter money जो है that is available in abundance. और I don't know how many of you know कि US में आज की डेट में LIBOR 6 month का क्या रेट है? 0.2, 0.25. And Warren Buffett in one of his interactions I gathered from that interaction about 6-8 months back or about a year back. He said he at the age of 56, he has seen so many up and downs in the cycles and all that. He had seen the US Treasury yields going up to 15%, 1500 bips. आज की डेट में जो US Treasury yield है, that is hardly 10-year paper is at what? I mean, it is 1.5, 1.6. Yeah. So see, cost of money is so low. Therefore, those investors, they are looking, they are interested to park in that money into the economies where they can get a return, risk-adjusted returns, which is in excess of 15, 20% or 3x or 4x. That would be very cool. But all of a sudden tomorrow, if the market is to go into a tailspin, then they would be interested how they would be able to protect their capital. You know, so अगर 20 कंपनी में इन्वेस्ट करते हैं तो उसमें से हो सकता है कि 10 कंपनी के अंदर उनके रिटर्न जो है वो उनकी नेगेटिव आए या उनकी रिटर्न बहुत नॉमिनल आए, पर बाकी जो 10 आईडी है उसके अंदर ब्रिलियंट रिटर्न आती है, तो वो एज अ बंडल उसके अंदर इन्वेस्ट करते हैं.
Absolutely.
So
So
you have to,
we are behind now, 10
Yeah.
minutes past 8.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
let's quickly wrap it up. So I think it's well understood how things should be presented. Let us now a little bit talk about the timing of our this program. As you know, we are all part of the Like Minds community now. There is a app which we are all using. So those who have joined only today, I would just request them to Shivam, give me a minute. I'll come back to you. And we will ask you to join the community if you have not joined so far, and that community link can be shared with you. You can connect with us online, offline, and all our announcement had that link, and also the timing of this seminar. So I thought, let me create a small poll. So let us give a quick reaction to what time is better, whether it should be Saturday or a Sunday or 7 p.m. or a 6 p.m. So kindly all of you quickly vote for it so that we can very democratically decide on the timing. And yes, Shivam, while the poll is going on, you can ask what you.
Sir, I want to ask about competition. Which when we are
You are not audible, Shivam, please. Hello.
Now I'm audible, sir.
You can be a bit louder, Shivam. Yeah.
Hello.
Yeah, please.
Yes, sir. Sir, I want to just know about competitor. Which type of competitor we should write in our pitch deck? Are they big ones or small ones? Or about these competitors, please tell us which type of competitors we should put in our pitch deck.
Atul, can you hear him properly?
yeah, I can hear him. Yeah.
Yeah. So, what is your question, Shivam? Can you just?
Yeah,
repeat?
what he's asking, what he's asking is that what kind of competitors they should write about in the pitch deck.
Yeah.
Whether it is a national competitor or it is a regional competitor or a neighborhood competitor.
Depends,
So is that-
what kind of my take I can say, but then Atul can also add on to it. What kind of market you are targeting? If you are targeting a national market, of course, you have to look at the competition that way. If you are going to go global, you have to also think about including the global competition. So what market you are targeting, that's the key first. And of course, not only small competitors, the overall competition has to be seen holistically. That's my quick reaction to it. Atul, you can add.
Yeah, so the competition is going to come not only from the national level, but also from your neighborhood or your regional level. So for you to define the competition, it is basically going to be a function of, as Rajiv rightly said, that what is the target market for you, whether it is a national target market or it is a northern Indian market, or for that matter a market which is restricted to a particular region, or it is a market which is going to be restricted to uh, the a state where you are operating from. And so your strategy has to be very, very clearly laid out, that in the first 3 years, the market size which you are talking about is in the, for example, agri product. So the market may be there in Punjab, Haryana, and Western UP. So far as the product production is concerned, so whether you would like to market your product only in this region, or you want to, now that market has opened across the states and all that, so whether you would like to market your product on a pan-India basis, is not a good strategy to make your product spread out so thin and too little. So you have to focus your energies on the regional market. When market is so huge, competition would be there, but then there would be regional players in each of those markets. So you need not to spend more time on fearing about the competition coming from south. So you have to address to a potential competitor in your next state and all that. आप यूपी में बैठे हो, डिटर्जेंट बना रहे हो, आपको कहो कि मुझे यूनिलीवर के वो उससे डर है, या ज्योति लैब के अंदर उसके उससे डर है, या निर्मा से डर है, आपका डर तो घड़ी डिटर्जेंट पाउडर से होना चाहिए ना.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
so it is something which is with the relevance of the data and the data points in the pitch deck is very, very important.
Absolutely.
See, things are very, very simple. It is like कि अभी जैसे हम ब्रांड की बात करते हैं, ब्रांड जो है वो इतने न्यूज़पेपर में आता है, इतने उसमें आता है, हम उनको भी नहीं देखते आज के डेट के अंदर. हम तो ये कहते हैं कि यार हमारे घर में क्या आ रहा है, वो इनसाइड द होम काइंड ऑफ एक्सपीरियंस जो हमारा क्या हो रहा है. हम राशन की दुकान पे ई कॉमर्स के थ्रू उसका ऑर्डर देते हैं, बिग बास्केट में देते हैं, हमको देते हैं, जियो पर घर पे आता है, तो उसके अंदर जो प्रोडक्ट है वो साथ में लग के आता है. वो अगर हमें अच्छा लगता है तो हम कहेंगे उसका रिपीट ऑर्डर दे देंगे. तो आपको तो वो जो आपके घर के अंदर जो प्रोडक्ट आ रहा है आज की डेट में, उसको आपको फील करना है कि बस वो जो प्रोडक्ट है उसको वो आप उससे उस प्रोडक्ट से कम्पीट कर रहे हो. सो आपको उसके बारे में अपने पिच डेक में देना है.
Yes, thank you so much. I think we had a poll, almost 10 people participated in that. The timing wise, 6 p.m. seems to be better for Sunday. So I think we will accordingly, maybe next week onwards, switch to that. And also, I think we had a good session and good discussion on pitch deck today. Let's continue. If you have any particular topic which you feel should be discussed here, please feel free to share it with us on Like Minds, and we can decide that in the chat room. And as I said, those who have not joined, please join, so that it's very easy and very interactive there. So we can collectively take a lot of calls, and we can discuss on daily basis also our day-to-day challenges on Like Minds. So thank you everyone. Thanks a lot. So we close today. Atul.
Yep. Yeah. Thank you, everyone. Yeah, we definitely appreciate the kind of questions which came from some of you. So we would encourage all of you to write as many questions as you have on the chat box or on the Like Mind, and feel free to get in touch with us. Our coordinates are there. So we'll be very happy to answer you in the intervening period before we catch up again in these kind of Zoom meetings. And let's make it more interactive. We are there to help you guys. And I think these are passing wave time. So the wave would definitely settle down sooner than later. And we would have the whole ecosystem wherein we would be looking at bigger opportunities on the business side. And as I say, stand up India, startup India, stand up India. So I think there's a whole lot of things. In fact, there are so much unicorns which have been built out in this calendar year itself, in 4 or 5 months. We already are going to have listing of 2 unicorns in next couple of months. So be it Zomatos or there's another one. So I think the startup ecosystem is there to stay, and we all have got our roles very well cut out, and we would be very happy to guide you on that one in whatever way we can.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you, everyone.
Okay, take care.
Thank
Have
you.
a nice
Bye-bye.
time. Bye.
Thank you very much. Will we be getting a copy of this PDF or something that you would share?
Yeah, Aditya, I can share on the group. Yeah,
Thank you very much.
yeah.
Okay, take care. Bye.
Thank you. Thank you. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Have a safe week ahead. Yeah.
Yeah, sure. Take care.